All right. So for this chapter or this reference yung natin, we will be using chapter 11 of our Cengage book. And then we're focusing on the cellular basis of sexual reproduction, which is meiosis. For our learning objectives, it's still the same. Like the mitosis discussion, although of course we're going to focus on the differences. So we'll focus on the difference in terms of processes in the stages of meiosis, and then we'll also do chromosome counting, kagaya nung sa mitosis activity nyo. So we'll be counting the difference or the changes in the chromosome and chromatids throughout the stages of meiosis. Right. So this is a scanning electron image, a scanning electron microscope image of an egg cell and a sperm cell. So I think some of you might be surprised na ang laki ng egg cell and then ang liit ng sperm cell. So yes, that is the realistic visualization of an egg cell and a sperm cell. Egg cells are much bigger than the sperm cell, and we'll be discussing today why that happens or that has happened in terms of human or animal evolution. Okay, so ito yung cover picture natin for our discussion because of course meiosis produces these two cells. Whenever we talk about meiosis, this is the process behind sexual reproduction. So this is defined as the production of offspring through the union of male and female gametes. So pag sinabi natin gametes, these are the sex cells, so sperm cell and egg cell. Now, in terms of division, it's always half the number. Okay? Half the number ang laman na chromosomes ng egg cell and sperm cell. So if we're going to classify it, is this considered as haploid or diploid? Okay? Again, kung we are referring to only half of the chromosomes, is that haploid or diploid? Sarah, yes?
Haploid po.
Yes, haploid. So, that's the correct term. Pag diploid, yun yung mga products ng ng mitosis. But for meiosis, their genetic material is always haploid. Okay, very good. Next. So, if you take a look at our diagram here, yung ating image, the egg, of course, only contains 23 chromosomes. The sperm has 23 chromosomes as well. And once they fuse through fertilization, you have a zygote which has a diploid in number. So, babalik siya sa original complete number for the organism. Okay, so knowing about meiosis or learning about the statistics of meiosis and the processes therein will allow you to appreciate how unique of an individual you are. So we are computing this statistic based on the numbers we have or we know from human beings. So let's ask someone to read the second bullet for us. Maybe Kurt? Can you read the second bullet?
The possibility that children of the same parents could receive the same is one chance out of squared or 1 in 70.
Nawawala-wala ka, dear, pero that's okay. On my end. Okay, so I think your classmates read with you. All right, so according to the statistics, there is 1 out of 70 trillion chance. For example, if ever na ikaw magkakaroon ka ng kapatid na male or female, what is the possibility that it will be exactly like you? So, in terms of every characteristic, every gene, every allele, every protein will be exactly like you. So, what is the possibility? And that is 1 out of 70 trillion. So, there is a very little chance that there will be a person exactly like you. And that number is further increased because of the randomness of meiosis. So, kung makikita na titigan natin, 2 cells is needed in order for meiosis to occur. then 23 chromosomes na pwedeng mag-shuffle, and then yung sa 23 chromosomes na yon, it could be from your mother or your father. So, malaki talaga yung margin in order to recreate a person like you. Okay, so we'll learn more about the differences or the variety of or randomness of meiosis in a bit. Right. So, I think you already know this as well. So, in terms of production of gametes, there are specific sex organs that will produce this. So, for example, the spermatozoa is produced in the testes. So, by the way, these are called gonads. Gonads are the sex organs of animals. So, for the testes, it produces spermatozoa, and yeah, yun talaga yung full name niya, yung full term, but we don't call it spermatozoa anymore. Sperm for simplicity's sake. And then for the female gonads, that's the ovaries. So in order to produce these gametes, there is such thing as a process called gametogenesis. So as you might tell from the words genesis, diba, it means beginning, creation, or the start, and gamete. So to directly translate, this is the start of gametes or the creation of gametes. Okay. All right, so this is the diagram, the overview of meiosis. Okay, so I know you're already familiar with mitosis, and from your own perspective, you can already compare the differences between mitosis and meiosis. So let's ask some volunteers. Can someone give me one difference from mitosis and meiosis that you can observe? Anong pinagkaiba ng mitosis sa meiosis based on this diagram? Miguel, yes?
Compared to mitosis, meiosis has two phases and has a more complex phases compared to mitosis.
Ayan, thank you. So, meron tayong two phases. So, meiosis is not as straightforward as mitosis kasi there are two parts. You have meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Okay, so good observation. What else? Aside from having two phases. Yes, Christian.
Mitosis produces two identical daughter cells, whereas meiosis results in four sex cells.
Exactly. So, kung mitosis, dalawa lang. Sa meiosis, apat lagi ang ating result. So, let's put 4 on that end. Next, Chloe.
May crossing over po na nangyayari sa meiosis, which is yung exchange po of DNA.
Yes. Right. So good observation as well. So for meiosis, ito yung one of the major differences. So mitosis, the genetic material of the daughter cells are exactly the same as that in the parent. Pero for meiosis, there is a difference kasi merong such thing as the crossing over event. So early in meiosis, magkakaroon ng exchange of DNA material in between the chromosomes. Hence, nag-iba yung nagiging result. So if you compare the chromosomes of the parent, so ito yung parent, and the daughter cells, it's different. Hindi na siya identical because of the crossing over. Alright, ano pa? Ilang beses nagdi-divide? How many times does meiosis divide? Robert, yes.
Ma'am, ano po, yung meiosis po, 2 beses and yung mitosis, 1 beses po.
Okay, very good. So, sa mitosis, isang beses lang. Sa meiosis, dalawa. Hence, it led to the two phases. So, the first division, 1 becomes 2, and then sa second division, 2 becomes 4. Yan. So, a lot of differences already. So, what we're going to do, since you already know the concept in each stage, i-highlight lang natin yung differences in detail. Skip ko tong text kasi yun yung we just discussed. Alright, So before we proceed with differences, let's learn one new term, and that is the allele. Now, when we say allele, these are versions of each gene, alleles, present in the members of a homologous pair may be the same or different. So the gene may encode a protein, might encode a different protein, or no protein at all. So just to simplify this, for example, here, meron tayong dalawang homologous chromosomes. Pag sinabi natin homologous, they have the same type of gene. Like they are responsible for the same type of protein. Now, there can be different versions of the gene, and yun yung tinatawag nating allele. So dito, both of the chromosomes here are in charge of the flower color. Pero the flower color could vary. So according to this, the flower with the first chromosome codes for a white flower. Okay. Well, on the other hand, the second chromosome codes for purple flower. So, ito yung allele. So, meron siyang allele for white flower, meron siyang allele for purple flower, but still, they are both in charge of flower color. So, same gene, it's just different in terms of what color will be encoded or what version will be encoded. So, sabihin natin na since these are present in the flower, sa tingin nyo, anong magiging kulay ng flower? So, since meron siyang white, meron siyang purple, anong magiging kulay ng flower? Miguel, yes.
Miss, is it the dominant trait?
Kung dominant trait, anong kulay? Sorry, wala pa akong reference. Usually, dominant ang purple. Yung may kulay yung dominant. So, if that's the case, it will be purple. Or, meron din such a thing as a codominant. So, ibig sabihin doon, parehas silang magkukulay. So, I think sa gumamela, this is possible. Di ba may gumamela na parang yellow, tapos may gumamela na pink. Tapos merong gumamela na parang orange yung kulay. So, meron din red. So, minsan kasi napapagsama-sama yung mga alleles. So, pag ganun, both of them expresses and nagpapakita sila. So, yun, that's another example of alleles. So, the same gene for coloration of flower, pero it could be different alleles. Ayun, different versions. So, for humans, maraming ganito. An example of that is hair texture. So, for example, a person who has completely straight hair only has allele for straight hair, while those who have very curly hair only has the allele for curly hair. Then, pag wavy yung hair, parehas. Meron siyang curly and straight alleles, kaya wavy yung hair niya. Yun. But then again, yeah, those are alleles. So, same gene, responsible for texture, but different versions. Yeah, so I think that was clear. Yun. So, yun yung ini-exchange. So, kung babalik tayo sa ating meiosis discussion, that is being exchanged during crossing over. Kasi sabi natin kanina, crossing over, or as defined by you guys, crossing over is the exchange of DNA material. So, ano yung DNA material in exchange? Yung mga alleles. So, nagkakaroon ng palitan ng alleles in between the chromosomes. Alright, so the crossing over happens already during prophase 1. So, during prophase 1, so the first phase of meiosis, you have your typical animal cell, normal prophase, pero nagkakaroon ng formation of something we call tetrads. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating tetrads, ilan yun? Tetra means what? Pag sinabing tetra pack, tetra. Pag sinabing tetra pack, yung zesto. Try yung 3, T-R-I. Pag tetra, Sarah, how about you? You were raising your hand?
4 po.
Yes, the answer is 4. Yun, Vin also said 4. So, tama yun, 4. So, pag sinabi nating tetra, Ayun, tetra po pala. Ayun, okay lang yan. So, ano ba yun? Mono, tetra. Ayun. Tetrahedral. 4. Okay, sige, balik tayo. Sige, so 4. So, ano yung 4 doon? Yung chromatids. So, if we draw this, 1, 2, yan, 2 chromatids, and then isa pa. Yan, that's a tetra. This is a tetra. So, nagkakaroon ng combining of 2 homologous chromosomes. So, dito, yan. 4 sila, 4 na chromatid, and they interact with one another in the process of crossing over. So, during prophase 1, ayan, so during prophase 1, this slide, details the process of what's going on during prophase 1. So, during prophase 1, here you have 2 homologous chromosomes, and they start creating tetrads. That process is called synapsis. So, again, the process of forming tetrads is called synapsis. Once you already have a tetrad, they will perform or exchange segments in a process called crossing over. And under the microscope, these are quite visible. Once tapos na yung kanilang crossing over event, the exchange spots are more thickened under the microscope, and yun yung tinatawag na chiasmata. So, ito yun. Yung nagpalit ng kulay sa ating diagram. Chiasmata. Okay, so again, what do you call the changing of or the pairing of tetrads? So that's synapsis. So once na meron ka ng tetrads, magko-crossing over na, mag-exchange na sila ng segments. And then, yung segments na in-exchange ay tinatawag na chiasmata. Okay. Any questions about this? Okay. Okay, wala naman. O sige, tuloy tayo. Alright, so this is just a visual representation of what just happened. Ano ulit tawag dito? To. Sa sister chromatids na to as homologous chromosomes. And there are 4 of them. What do you call this? What do you call the pair of homologous chromosomes?
Synapsis po.
Yung process ng pag-pair. Okay?
Ay.
Synapsis yung process ng pag-pair. Okay? Pero anong tawag dun sa pair? Tetrad, ayun, tetrad. So, thanks, Kurt. Sa tetrad. So, through the process of synapsis, the chromosomes form a tetrad. Okay, so once na nagkaroon na ng tetrad, nagkakaroon na ng crossing over. Okay, so ito yung sa slide. Crossing over. So, they exchange materials. And then, the spots, okay, what do you call these spots? Yung nagkaroon ng exchange. What do you call the spots where the alleles have been exchanged in between the chromatids? Yeah, starts with the letter C. Ayan. Thank you, Sarah. That's chiasmata. So, chiasmata or chiasma in some references. So, as a result of the crossing over, the parent and the daughters are no longer the same. So, that's what we call recombinant. Pag sinabi nating recombinant DNA, that is no longer the original DNA, but instead there has been alteration in the DNA material. All right, so that's the major changes, one of the major changes in terms of meiosis. Now, so pupunta na tayo sa ibang phases ng meiosis. So starting with prophase 1. Okay, so sa prophase 1, ibang-iba siya kasi nagkakaroon ng crossing over. By the time na tapos na yung crossing over, it will now enter, or the cell will now enter metaphase 1, and it's pretty normal. Now, the second change will happen in anaphase 1. Kasi if you notice, the sister chromatids did not separate and the chromosomes are still connected. Okay. So, hindi sila magse-separate agad during anaphase 1. So, pagdating ng telophase and interkinesis, and yes, yung first cytokinesis ang tawag ay interkinesis because it's the intermediate cytokinesis. So, pagdating ng telophase and interkinesis, there is still full chromosomes. Dito, hindi pa naghihiwala yung sister chromatids. Okay. So, the sister chromatids will separate pagdating ng anaphase 2. But for the other processes, it actually happens in a similar manner. So, ganun pa rin sa prophase 1, sa metaphase 2. Sa anaphase 2, saka na maghihiwala yung sister chromatids. And then, 4 new cells will be produced by the end of telophase 2 and cytokinesis. Yun. So, yun lang naman siya, ang ating meiosis. So, crossing over, prophase 1. Okay. Then, yung change sa anaphase. And then, yun na siya, resulting to 4 daughter cells. Okay, so this slide shows us like a summary of the differences between mitosis and meiosis. But I think we already went through this, so just read that kung pag nag-review na kayo. Madali naman yung meiosis. Okay, so magdagdag lang tayo ng question do. Sige, let's give you a question. What do you think is the main advantage of meiosis? Bakit meron pang meiosis kung meron namang mitosis? Why is it important in terms of life? Yes, Kurt.
Yes, I think meiosis is important po kasi there will be a diversity or differences of us terms of genetic po.
Yes. So meiosis is the reason why there is genetic diversity. That's correct. So if you can remember, what's the first living things in our planet? Yung first identified living thing. What is the ancestor of all, according to research? What's the ancestor of current living things? Any guesses? From quarter 1. Anong pinakasimpleng organism that's most likely survived, for yung yeah, they're still around. Yan, prokaryotes. Yes. So prokaryotes or the bacteria, yun. So the prokaryotes still divide through mitosis. So nakakapag-divide naman sila, buhay pa rin naman sila even if they don't have meiosis. Pero if you notice, they're still simple organisms. They are small, they are pretty much very similar to one another and walang masyadong diversity. But when it comes to meiosis, those who animals or plants included, which utilizes sexual reproduction, has a great diversity. So species evolved because through time nagkakaroon ng genetic diversity, and if there are so much genetic diversity, that results to species. And then that's the mechanism or one of the mechanisms of evolution as well. So meiosis is very important. Hindi exciting kumbaga yung buhay sa planet natin kung puro mitosis lang. Meiosis brings forth the variability in our planet. So speaking of variability, so meiosis increases the variation in living things by 3 sources. So first one, of course, nagkaroon tayo ng crossing over event. So, during the crossing over, nagkaroon ka na ng recombination ng genetic material. So, let's say you have a deck of cards, shuffle mo yung deck of cards. So that's a recombination. So that's what crossing over does. Number two, the independent assortment of chromosomes. So after ng crossing over, which chromosomes will be assigned to the four daughter cells. So kung meron kang shuffled cards, hahatiin mo pa sila into four groups. And then, from that four groups, that bullet number 3, bubunot ka ng isa. So, which from the male and female gametes will be used for fertilization. So that leads to so much variety in the different living things in our planet. Okay. All right. So let's try to apply, like try to expand your knowledge as well. I-relate natin yung meiosis in terms of human sex cell production. So there is a specific term for the female and male sexual reproduction or gametogenesis. So pag female, ang tawag doon ay oogenesis. And yes, ganun talaga siya i-pronounce, oogenesis. Oogenesis, so makikita niyo dito, meron tayong mag-undergo ng meiosis 1, and then it will enter meiosis 2, okay? And as a result, you have an egg. In spermatogenesis, you have a primary spermatocyte. So ito yung mag-undergo ng meiosis 1. Secondary spermatocyte will undergo meiosis 2. And then the result are spermatids. Now, during this time, hindi pa to mature. The spermatid will need more time. So, ang mangyayari dyan, liliit yung sperm, liliit yung head ng spermatid bago siya maging functional na sperm. Alright, so that's in the male and female gametogenesis. Now, any differences that you have noticed between the male and female gametes? Anong naging difference in the result? Anyone? So, meron kang spermatid dito, and sa kabila, meron kang egg. Miguel, yes?
Compared to oogenesis po, spermatogenesis produces more cells because all the spermatid are produced into sperm.
How about sa oogenesis?
Based on the diagram po, only 1 out of 4 are being produced into ovum.
Yes, that's correct. So that's the reason why human males have more sex cells compared to females. Diba, females only can ovulate 1 egg per month. While sa males, unlimited supply, basically. And this is the reason why. That's because in terms of evolution, for humans, only 1 out of 4 eggs will be viable or will be used for possible fertilization. While for the males, lahat ay pwede. Pwedeng gamitin. All 4 sperms can be used for fertilization. Okay, so why is that such a thing? Diba? So, in terms of evolution, it became an adaptation, kumbaga. Okay, so kumbaga, let's have like kung naalala niyo yung picture kanina sa simula ng ating okay, so simula ng ating slide. Okay, so this is the sperm. This is the egg. Why do you think the egg is now so big?
May sula lang po. Siguro po mas mahirap po kasi i-sustain yung growth ng egg cells kapag marami po sila. So parang mas efficient po yung option na putting all your eggs in one basket po.
It's related to that, like putting everything in one. How about you, Miguel? Anong idea mo?
Miss, wala lang po pero it related pa rin po ito sa ano na sinagot po ni Sarah pero ito po, mahihirapan po mag-grow yung parang baby kung sabay-sabay po sila doon. Kasi mahirapan rin po yung katawan ng mother na palakihin po sila sabay-sabay. Gamit po yung nutrients na kinukuha ng katawan niya po.
So that's the thing. So for human females, it's not in terms of our evolution, nasa na yung slide natin. Yan. In terms of our evolution, it's not healthy, it's not wise, parang hindi siya magiging successful kung apat lahat yon sabay-sabay pwedeng na-fertilize. Kung frog ka, or kung frog, or siguro turtle, or snake, siguro pwede. Like, their bodies can take it. Pero for us humans, ayan, sabi nga ni Robert, hindi na po kasya. Pag nag-fertilize na yung apat na egg cell. So, ideally, dapat isa lang. Kasi for us, our offspring requires a lot of nutrients, a lot of resources, and ang tagal. 9 months ba naman? Kasi for other animals, mas maikli yung pregnancy time. So, in terms of our evolution, isa lang. And then, tama yung sinabi nila, lahat ng nutrients nako-concentrate lang sa isang egg, which leads to it growing in such a big size. So, kumbaga, lahat ng kailangan ng baby in terms of growth ay naka-concentrate lang sa isang egg, hindi na sa apat. Kaya sobrang laki niya. And then yung sperm cell, wala na siyang kailangan dalhin. Dadalhin niya lang ay yung sarili niya, basically. So yung sperm, ang dadalhin lang niya ay genetic material, some sugar para makagalaw siya, then that's it. The rest of the nutrients and materials are already in the egg. There. So that's the gametogenesis for human beings. Okay, any questions about that? Pero no, meron sila yung Benedict, yes.
Hello ma'am, is it possible po ba na sa oogenesis po, kasi na-wonder ka lang po rin kasi is it possible na may tendency na dalawa po yung ovum na magagawa or hindi po talaga mangyayari yun?
Meron. Di ba yung twins? Yung non-identical twins, dalawa yung egg. Dalawa yung egg, kaya di ba hindi sila magkamukha? Yung non-identical kasi magkaibang egg yung na-fertilize. So, some humans have maintained that characteristic na instead of one, dalawang egg yung na-ovulate instead of, one. So, yun. Minsan nga, di ba, triplets pa. So, pag ganon, ibig sabihin hindi lang isang egg yung na-ovulate, yung kaya niyang i-ovulate. Like, multiple at a time. Kaya, ayun, nagkakaroon sila ng triplets or twins. Pero pag, yun, kaya ganon. Iba naman yung sa sa identical. Sa identical twins, nahati yung zygote. Kaya parehas yung DNA nila. Yan. So, I hope that answers your question. Ang
Thank
dami
you
ko
po,
na
ma'am.
welcome.
Ayun
Dami ko
pala.
na sinabi. O, sige. Other questions? Okay. So, there we go. So, that's oogenesis and spermatogenesis in humans. Okay. So, bago tayo mag 10-minute break, I can teach you this chromosome counting in meiosis already, and then we can have oh, by the way, we have a short activity, so I'll let you do the activity for some period of time, and then we can also have a break. Okay. All right. So here is a chromosome counting in meiosis. So I'll do the first example para meron kayong reference. All right. So for chromosome counting, madali lang to kasi it's similar to mitosis, yung ginawa nating mitosis counting. Nagkaroon lang ng changes in some stages. So for prophase 1, meron tayong if 2n is equal to 6, so lalagay natin 2n is equal to 6, then the prophase 1, 6 yung chromosomes. And remember, nag-replicate pa rin yung DNA, meron pa rin tayong chromatids, so 12. Okay? So this continues at metaphase with 6 and 12. By anaphase, ganun pa rin. Now take note, hindi naghiwalay yung chromosomes, yung chromatids. So 6 and 12 pa rin. And then, after telophase and interkinesis, okay, sa tingin nyo, ilan na lang yung chromosomes? Kung 6 yung chromosomes during anaphase, what will happen after interkinesis? How many chromosomes will there be? Divide nyo lang by 2. Ilan na? Divide by 2, guys. Chromosomes would be, yes, Benedict.
3 po ba, ma'am?
Ayun, 3. By 3, and then for chromatid 6. So by the end of meiosis 1, haploid na agad yung mga cells. Okay? So 3 and then 6 chromatids. Now going into meiosis 2, ang bilang natin ay per cell. So per cell. So 3 and 6 over here. Then nag-align lang sila. By anaphase 2, naghiwalay na yung mga chromosome, ay yung sister chromatids. So balik tayo sa 6 and 6. And then after telophase 2 and cytokinesis, you have 3 and 3. So that means you have a haploid number. So 2n, kung sabi natin kanina, 2n is equal to 6. By the end of meiosis, you have n is equal to 3. Okay. So madali lang siya. Okay. So I have another example. Ito. Okay. I have another example. So apply natin yon. So starting with prophase. So how many chromosomes will there be in prophase? If 2n is equal to 80. Glazine, yes.
80 po ba, ma'am?
Yes, 80 pa din. Okay? And then, sige, i-send ko yung screenshot sa chat natin. Ito, screenshot. Screenshot. Para meron kayong sagot. Meron kayong reference. Ayan. And then, yung next page. Okay. Sige. Alright, balik tayo sa 80. 80. Okay. Sige. So, prophase 180, how many chromatids would there be in prophase 1? Kurt?
There will be 160 po.
Yeah, 160. So, times 2 lang yan. Okay? So, same number in metaphase and anaphase. Kasi, hindi sila naghiwalay. So, same number pa rin. By the end of telophase and interkinesis, how many chromosomes and chromatids will there be per cell? By the end of interkinesis, sige, Glazlyn, go ahead.
40 po.
40 what?
Chromosomes po.
Ilang
80 po sa chromatids.
Yes, very good. So 40 chromosomes and then 80 chromatids. All right. So, ulitin lang natin yung process for meiosis 2. So, we ended meiosis 2, meiosis 1 with 40 versus 80 chromatids. So, 40 chromosomes and 80 chromatids. Next, the number is maintained for metaphase. And sa anaphase, ilan na ang chromosomes and chromatids? For anaphase, how many chromosomes and chromatids will be present? Okay, Gracelyn, go ahead.
80 po. Parehas po.
Okay, 80 for chromosome and 80 din for chromatids. Okay, last na. So, at the end, so after mag-divide, yung two daughter cells, how many will be the chromosomes and chromatids per cell? Our final number. Robert, yes?
Ma'am, ano po, 40 chromosomes and 40 chromatids.
Very good. So, 40, 40 na. So, by the end, if 2n is equal to 80, 2n is equal to 80, n will be 40. Okay? Any questions about this? Yan na. Sige. Alright. So, it's 2:09. We can do an activity. Sige. So, I'll stop sharing. And then, let's go to BBL. So, sa BBL ng S1106, kindly go to Module 4. Okay. So, if you go to your BBL, meron dyan sa Module 4, you'll see this activity. To meiosis chromosome counting practice problem. So, kindly do that. So, set aside time na kasi ngayon yung async natin. So, sagutan na natin to today. Okay, so these are the chromosome counting problems. There are two sets of problems. So, ito yung one. And then, if you want to answer, just drag it there. Lagay nyo lang sa box kung saan nyo siya gusto ilagay. And then, ito yung pangalawang practice problem. Then, after yung sagutan yung two practice problems, submit report. Then, paki-check kung na-record siya.